Hello, September here. Before this episode starts, I would like to say this month while creating this video, I came under the weather. So if I sound a little sick in certain parts of the video, I am sorry for that. And I try to correct and add some words where my pronunciation wasn't so good.
Do you know who I am?
Yes, Darth Bane, the ancient Sith Lord, you are.
That's not Darth Bane. Hold on one sec. There. Now that's Darth Bane.
Back in the days of the old Republic, many Sith once lived. Masters and apprentices. But of course, the Sith and their ultimate goal of destroying the Jedi was met by one failure. Themselves. Constant infighting amongst their own order. Strong masters being taken out by a group of weaker, inferior Sith, who then would fight each other to see who will be the new Dark Lord and the master of the dark arts. Many Dark Lords there was, and this is how it went for many of years, eons, of the history of the Sith. But there was one who saw the failings of the Sith, and realized in order to rule the galaxy a new rule has to be made. And he would be the one to not only destroy the Sith, but remake them better, new. This man, the Sithari, the Sith that would be prophesied to bring the Sith to the full goal that they have set out to destroy the Jedi Order. This man was Darth Bane.
Patros, the mining world on the outer rim of the galaxy. There, Dessel was born. His mother dying soon after his birth. Hated by his father, who had always referred to him as the bane of his existence. Dessel lived a miserable life in his early years upon the mining world. Eventually, at the age of 16, he began to work in the mines. There, not only did he have to deal with the abuse of his father, but the abuse of the other workers as well. This went on for several more years. Then, at the age of 18, he finally had enough of his father's abusive ways. He stood up to him, but unfortunately, he was badly beaten. His ribs were broken. He lied in his room on his bed recovering that night, but with a simple image in his mind. The image of a hand gripping his father's heart, squeezing it and squeezing it so tightly. But unknowns to him, he has called upon the very dark side of the Force to kill his father. The next morning, he found his father dead.
Years have gone by, Dessel becoming stronger both physically and mentally. During an incident at work, he managed to get time off. He took this opportunity to go to the only bar on the planet. There he learned that Republic soldiers have stopped by to refuel their ships, and are now playing card games amongst the miners. With an instinct deep within him, a feeling that he would win, he took whatever credits he had and entered in. And with luck would have it, or the will of the Force itself, Dessel won, winning a large sum of credits. Dessel, making his way back home with a pocket full of credits, was ambushed by some of the Republic soldiers, wanting their money back. But Dessel was not going to give it up so easily. In the fight, he winds up killing one of them, with the others fleeing. Knowing this would be the end for him, uncertain what would happen. But there would be some luck for him still yet. But lucky for him, he had a friend named Gosik, a immune, who was the bartender, who had ties with the Sith army. Using his contacts, he managed to smuggle Dessel off the world. From there, Dessel joined the Sith army, becoming part of a group called the Gloomwalkers. Finding a new family within the Gloomwalkers, Dessel became very close with his team members. But of course, though, all this would not last forever. After realizing that his team was going into a suicide mission, he knocked out the commander, taking lead, and opted for a night attack. The mission was a success, but this was up against the commands of the Sith. But this will only lead to a next part of his life. After realizing his force potential, he was taken to the Sith homeworld of Korriban. There he would begin his training as a Sith. He took on the name Darth Bane, something he was deeply familiar with. A name for himself.
Bane became a promising student within the academy. But this would not last for long, unfortunately. During a particular sparring match with his opponent, he wound up killing him in anger. He began to fear losing control again and start to question the dark side. From there, whatever bit of force he had, he started to lose. He became known as the weakling of the academy, a laughingstock. Eventually, he fought again against the top student of the academy. And there, he was beaten again. But this time, even more severely. Eventually, he started to become friends and eventually lovers with a former Jedi turned Sith. And in secret, they studied the ways of the Sith of old, against the wishes of the Masters, who say that he will learn nothing from them, considering them relics of the past, and will not further the Sith now. But during his training, Darth Bane's knowledge grew, such as his power did. He had more command of the Force than he ever had. Eventually, he fought that exact same student again. And this time, he won. But the Masters have learned of his secret training of the old ways, and forbid him from learning more. This, of course, angered Bane. Eventually, after a while, he realized he was not the weak one. They were. He saw the Sith as they were now. Pathetic, weak, so focused on equality amongst their members. Eventually, he decided there was only one thing to do. The Sith, in order to complete the ultimate goal that they originally set out, they must be destroyed, and from the ashes, reborn. Fleeing Korriban, Darth Bane made his way throughout the galaxy to look for knowledge of the Sith of old. On his journey, he came across the Holocron of Darth Revan, and through his teachings, he developed his new rule, and also learned of the Holocron. After a failed attempt at being killed by the very woman he loved by poison, he made his way to the remaining of the Army of Darkness to seek audience with Lord Khan. Not that con. Anyway, after seeking audience with him, he taught him of the thought bomb. After several defeats against the army of light, Lord Khan and the Brothers of Darkness, on the brink of defeat, he decided that he had no alternative but to use the thought bomb against the army of light. There he gathered his remaining forces into a cave, luring the Jedi in. And there, with a single snap, the thought bomb was enacted. There, drained the life of all Sith, all the Jedi in the cave. There, the Jedi thought, that was it. No more Sith. They were all defeated by the army of light. But unknown to them, there still was one. Darth Bane. Darth Bane knew that he needed to find an apprentice to begin rebuilding the Sith. But as luck would have it, he came across an orphan girl named Rain. And there she will be renamed Darth Zana.
Many a year has passed ever since that day, Darth Bane taking Zana in as his apprentice. His strength has grown, but his body starts to wilder away. Old age and dark side degradation was starting to take its toll. Bane starts to question himself, wondering if Darth Zana would truly be the one to take the mantle of Darth Lord, worrying that she will never challenging him to a duel to see who would take lead of the Sith and continue the rule of two. Worrying that Darth Zana would inherit the role of Sith Lord unjustly, without challenge, of him dying of old age and sickness. From there, he realized that he needed to find a new apprentice, sending Darth Zana off on a mission to keep her occupied while he began his search for a new apprentice. There, he finally found one. There, he named her Darth Codness. But of course, though, Darth Zana learned of his trickery. After several attempts of fighting him, Bane finally called for her. There, on a battlefield, they met, first starting with blades of crimson light. The double-bladed saber of Darth Zana and Bane's curved hilt. The battle to see who would truly be the new master, who would earn that right. Blow after blow, Bane started to take the upper hand in the fight with the blades. Zana tried to move it more towards using the Force itself. They're locked into a mental game of her Sith story and Bane's willpower. Bane decided it was the perfect opportunity to do essence transfer, transferring his spirit to her body to continue the rule of two. But of course, this would fail. No more luck for Bane this time. With a bright light and flash, all that remained left of Bane was his lightsaber and arm. From there, Darth Zana had earned the right to be called the Dark Lord of the Sith, the Master. There she took Darth Codness as her apprentice, and continued the rule of two from that day. Hiding within the darkness, the Sith grow in power. The Master and the Apprentice, continuing the cycle again and again, waiting for that one day where the Sith will finally reveal themselves to the galaxy. The Jedi would fall, and the Republic with them. All of this done by the legacy of Darth Bane, the rule of two. Darth Bane will sadly never see this day, but he knew through this one plan, the Sith will finally get the ultimate goal.
Without a doubt, Darth Bane is one of my favorite Sith Lords. And if you would like to start your journey to learn more about him, I highly suggest that you check out the Bane trilogy. It's a good read, and it's a good starting point for anyone who wants to start the Legends continuity. Also, you can check out Sith vs. Jedi, the graphic novel. I would also leave a link to both of those in the description below if you want to check them out. But anyway, this is all the time I have. This is September, signing off, and may the Force be with you. Always.